The way to win in this game is do what you say you're going to do. Don't do what everyone wants you to do, but if you say you're going to do something, then do it. He says, because that will build leadership trust, rapport, connection, and it will also destroy it. He says, and you pick which one you want to do.
You're listening to the MSP Security Playbook, the show where modern MSPs come to sharpen their strategy, streamline operations, and secure their growth. I'm your host, Jacob Hazelbaker, MSP Channel Account Manager here at Heimdal Security, where we help MSPs win with unified, AI-powered cybersecurity solutions. Today's guest is Ian Luckett, MSP growth expert and founder of the MSP Growth Hub, a consultancy dedicated to helping managed service providers scale profitably, build high-performing teams, and step out of the day-to-day firefight. In this episode, Ian shares why leadership, not just technology, is the real growth lever inside an MSP, and why too many owners ignore it until it's too late. Ian breaks down his scale of confidence model, a simple 3-step framework to harness ambition, amplify capacity, and maximize opportunities, and explains how to stop being the bottleneck in your own business. It's a conversation about leading smarter, scaling sustainably, and building MSPs that thrive through people, not just platforms. But before that, here's Adam Pilton, Heimdal's cybersecurity advisor, with this week's threat brief.
Thanks, Jacob. Your phone rings, and on the other end is someone screaming that they kidnapped your child. They send a photo that looks exactly like your loved one, frightened, restrained, and begging for help. They demand money immediately, and the longer you hesitate, the more violent the threats become. But the reality, there is no kidnapping. And the photo you were sent, it was pulled from social media, altered with AI, and weaponized to extort you. The FBI has issued a new nationwide alert warning that virtual kidnapping scams are evolving fast. Criminals are now using altered proof of life photos and videos to make their threats appear genuine. In some cases, the scammers take real images from a victim's online profile, adjust clothing, add restraints, distort expressions, and create a scene that looks terrifyingly real. And because these images originate from legitimate photos, the deception is extremely convincing. Some scammers are getting even smarter. They use messaging apps with disappearing media or timers that limit how long the victim can inspect the photo. They apply filters that make it harder to spot inconsistencies. They pressure victims to stay online, preventing them from contacting the supposedly kidnapped person or verifying anything. The entire tactic relies on emotional shock, urgency, and the realism of the fabricated image. This isn't a niche threat. It can target anyone: parents, siblings, travelers. Anyone with a social media presence large enough for criminals to harvest pictures from. What makes this evolution so dangerous is the subtlety. The photos usually look real at first glance. Attackers may miss minor details: a tattoo on the wrong side, a hairstyle slightly off, a background depth that feels unnatural. But none of that matters in the first panic seconds of receiving a ransom demand. Scammers know that fear shuts down reasoning, and they exploit that. So, here's what you need to do. First, take any kidnapping claim with extreme caution. If you can, try to contact the loved one directly on another line. Most victims discover within seconds that the person in question is completely safe. Second, establish a family or team safe word. It's simple, but it gives you a fast, reliable verification method during a crisis. Third, be thoughtful about what you share online. The more photos available publicly, the easier it is for scammers to build convincing, fake proof of life media. And finally, if you ever receive one of these calls, document everything you can: screenshots, call logs, messages, and report it immediately. These cases rely on speed and silence. Breaking that cycle protects you and helps law enforcement track emerging patterns. Virtual kidnappings aren't new, but the technology behind them is changing. Deepfake tools, image manipulators, and social media scraping are turning a once crude scam into a highly believable psychological attack. As AI becomes more accessible, Expect these attacks to spread, evolve, and become even harder to spot in the moment. For MSPs, this story matters because it opens the door to conversations your clients aren't having, but urgently need to. Virtual kidnapping scams don't target networks, they target people. And the realism of these attacks is only possible because of the sheer amount of personal data, photos, and location clues individuals and businesses share online every day. This is an opportunity for you to educate clients about digital privacy, reinforce why cybersecurity isn't just about firewalls and patching, and help them build family and staff protocols for handling high-pressure social engineering tactics. By bringing this threat to their attention, you position yourself as the trusted advisor who protects not just their systems, but their people. Catch you in the next brief. Back to you, Jacob.
Ian Luckett, thank you so much for your time today, sir.
No problem whatsoever. It's a pleasure to be here, and thanks very much for asking me to get me on your podcast. It's great.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to this. And something that really caught my attention was you work with the MSP Growth Hub. So for those who might not yet be familiar, could you tell us a little bit more about that?
That's great. Yeah, the MSP Growth Hub is kind of like the brainchild of myself and my business partner. We were both independent business coaches about 5 years ago, and only working in the MSP space, just helping them with their sales, marketing, strategy, leadership, all of that kind of great stuff. And we suddenly decided, could we help more people, have more fun, change more lives, and make a bigger impact if we worked together? And we did. And 5 years later, we're working with individually, probably over nearly 85 people in the MSP space and over 50 businesses, which is amazing. And based in the UK, operating at the moment in the UK. But yeah, having lots of fun with those MSP owners who want to build and scale MSPs, but need a little bit of confidence to do so.
And you've said in the past that MSP owners don't wake up thinking, I need to do leadership today. So why is that? And what happens when they don't?
So generally what happens, as most MSPs, they have a very flat structure. So they do more work year on year, great referrals, running a good business, care about your customers and all that. You get more people, do more work, and you end up with quite a flat structure. So what you actually end up with is the more and more clients you end up with, the more and more headaches you get from your different team members that you've brought in. Not everybody's the same, remember? So certain people will be really good on help desk. Some people will be great on projects. Some people will be great on onboarding. And if you get that wrong and you're not spending the time kind of working out where the best people to sit, that can get really complicated. But we measure a lot of things, and we haven't quite designed this yet, but I think it'd be really cool if we did, is to have like a huff-ometer. So it's like every time in your day when you go, oh God, why haven't they done this? Why haven't they done that? Why is this not done? Why is that, and it starts, why didn't something happen? And it's those flash points when you want to throw the cup of coffee across the desk at someone probably, when you've got to just stop, put the mirror up, and look at yourself and go, why is this happening in my business? What is going on to me, around me, to my team that means that I've got frustration in they're not doing something that I want them to do? Have I not explained to them clearly what I should be doing? Have I not given them the right tools? Have they got the SOP? Do they understand the SOP? Is it a capability issue? Is it a capacity issue? And there's all this whole, and that's all leadership stuff, right? It's just building the right team. And that's the most important thing, because all of those are, they're not aha moments, they're negative. The huff moments are created when an expectation exchange doesn't get realized and someone does one thing, you do another, and you don't meet in the middle. And that's when customers fall through the gap. That's when your team members fall through the gap, and you can kind of get teams going, I'm not working with this person anymore. They're an absolute idiot, or whatever it might be. And it's when it starts to go quite sour. And if you've got, like many MSPs, they've got client concentration kind of around the wrong way. So they could have big customers taking up 30, 40, we've even heard 50% of their turnover, and they don't get the love they want. And they go and look for someone else who will give them a bit of love. Life changes very, very quickly, and not for the better.
How do you find that balance for MSPs between AI versus still having a human in the loop?
I think the thing that's interesting with that is that, since the AI boom thing came out and everyone went shiny ball syndrome all over it, I think MSPs are starting to settle now and they're starting to realize that in actual fact, the technology that the vendors have needs, if that has AI in it to start with, that's going to help me do my work quicker and better. Actually investing in the AIs and MSP themselves. I think from a business productivity point of view, like Copilot, ChatGPT, that sort of thing, I think there are good things there to do with it. But again, you need that time. But you also need the processes. And this is where you've got a lot of people who are going around, this is the best tool for this. This will sort your help desk out. AI will not fix a broken process at all, right? You need a decent process. You need a slick process that's accountable, it's efficient, and it works, and it tested that it works before you can plug it into any tool. Otherwise, you're just going to magnify the chaos that you've got kind of going on around you, sort of thing. So when we first start working with clients, and when we have any conversation with any MSP who's decided that they want to step things up and kind of really take the business to the next level, we say to them, what's winning look like to you? And they go, what do you mean? It's like, well, do you want to work 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days a week? Have you got kids you need to put through private school? Do you want to go and do some charity work out in, and help people who are less fortunate than you? What does winning look like when you've finished with your MSP? And they look at us as if we're like crazy. And it's like, no, this is really important, because a lot of the time we see MSPs, they build and build and build, and then they exit, and then they go, what am I going to do now? And they end up back in the channel as consultants, to be honest with you, most of the time, which is absolutely fine. But it starts with that human connection and what winning looks like for you. I've got a son who's got some special needs. I need to make sure he's all right in future life, right? I can't just do a job and just expect someone else to look after him. So I've got some big visions around what that looks like. I need money for that. And the way I'm going to get that money is by helping people get what they want, which means that I will get what I want. And guess what happens? Then it all wins. But AI is not going to do that thought for you. So, the vision, we talk about the vision, the mission, and the values a hell of a lot at the Growth Hub, just to set that North Star in that direction. So if a business doesn't have that vision, the business owner doesn't have that vision, it's never going to cascade down to your senior leadership team. It's never going to cascade down to your team on how your daily activities are going to help connect and achieve that vision, which is what the business means it's winning. So if you look at the people towards the technical side of things, if they're using all these AI tools, but they don't really know why they're doing it, and they don't really know the purpose of the business, great. Simon Sinek, why? Just buy it, read it, absorb it, digest it. It's so important, and he just encapsulates that just perfectly. And the human creates the why, not the AI.
Hey, I hope you're enjoying this week's conversation. If you're finding this episode valuable, take a quick second to follow the MSP Security Playbook on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. It really helps us reach more MSPs who want to scale smarter and lead with security, and it keeps this kind of expert insight coming your way. Now, back to the episode. So I love that you, even for it sounds like those early MSPs that aren't super far along in the growth journey, that you still ask them, what does success look like? Like, you want to know what really is their goal? What is their North Star that they're trying to work for? So how does that help shape MSPs? I'm really curious. The owners are often real technical. They've been doing it one person the whole time. How do you even begin to get them to let go a little bit and start to outsource some of the stuff they're doing, just so they can have that time, that energy to really focus on the end goal of this whole business?
That's a great question, and one that I'll refer to with a client of mine who came in, and we did a growth planning session with him. And at the end of that session, we kind of run through, where are we going with this business? What do we need to do? And they walk out with a plan, step-by-step plan for the next 16 weeks on what they need to do. And the one thing he said to me is, he said, the thing that really blew my mind today was, he said, I never appreciated the connection between how busy I am and the amount of time stroke the quality of the team that I've got. And I've got to get them connected to the culture, to the values of the business, what good customer service looks like, what poor customer service looks like, and where the business is going. Because, people don't wake up in the morning and say, yippee, I'm going to earn $100 or pounds or whatever it is today. They don't think that. When you go to bed at night and you've had a great day and you've overcome a problem and you've helped someone out, you go to bed and you go, I had a really good day today. I've helped this guy out, or this woman here, or whatever it might be, or I've solved this problem. And really, one of the terms one of my coaches used to use with me was, "I had a really strong week this week." It's been a really, if we look back on it, that week has really moved the needle. It's helped move the needle of the business where we're going and moving it forwards. And I think it's having that language, surrounding yourself with people and having that language around the things that move the needle and make the difference are the things to focus on. And when you get caught up, because if you haven't got a plan, as one of my little phrases are, you're never going to build a house, fly a plane, or go on holiday. It's never going to happen, right? Because you need a plan to do that. So why don't you have a plan for your life, and why don't you have a plan for your business? And if you have a plan for your business, then what that enables you to do is to go and focus on those individual sections in that priority order, because someone's helped you put that in place rather than me. If it was down to me, rather than my business partner, Stuart, so I speed him up, he slows me down. But he also says no to me a lot, particularly when I come back from holiday and I've been reading books or I've been listening to books and I've come up with all these ideas and I go, right, we need to do this. And he's like going, no, we don't. No, we don't. Oh, we could do a little bit of that. Yes, we can do this. No, we can't do that. And I'm going, why? Because I'm a builder. I'll build something. I won't finish it, but I'll build it. I'll implement it. I'll get it launched, and we'll kind of be away. And a lot of MSPs are like that as well. And what you end up with is you end up with all this stuff that happens out of synchronization and out of order, and then you don't move forwards because you don't get that traction. And just going back to your point about how does it kind of really click together? It clicks together when they get confidence that they can let go of these items. And for somebody who they might have given a technical project, like setting up a Wi-Fi system or routers or whatever it might be, they'll go, oh, I'm the only one who can do that. And go, yeah, but what if you did actually teach someone to do it to 70%, and then you had a quick check and balance, and then you finished it off? Oh, they wouldn't do that. It's like, okay, give it a try, see what happens. And then we introduce them to 50 other MSPs who've done the same thing and have all let go of it. And then all of a sudden they go, yeah, that person's turned into a real gem because they're now empowered. They feel they've got ownership. They've got responsibility. You've given them something that they're excited about. They will be the engineers who'll wake up in the morning going, fantastic, I've got to deliver that project today because Ian said I could do this or I could do that or whatever. And it's that engagement and it's that connection to the plan that kind of connects all the way through. That's the most important thing. So that's kind of normally what's missing and what needs fixing, which is difficult, right?
I can only imagine. I think that's real smart, though, that not only do you work with them, figure out what it is they care about, but you also, in that process, you've mentioned introducing them to other MSPs who have done this process before. So they kind of have not just words of wisdom and advice, but they have concrete examples,
Yes.
their peers, other
Yeah.
MSPs who's
Yeah.
done exactly that.
Yeah.
So that's a good approach. I hadn't actually thought of that. So you often talk about engaging teams is kind of is where the whole rocket's going, if you will. So how do you actually engage teams, especially in hybrid or remote first setups?
Be vulnerable. Be a vulnerable leader. So, many MSP business owners are of an age where vulnerability is seen as a weakness, and it's seen as, the fact that I'm the manager, you're the people, you do what I tell you to do, then we're going to get along just fine. Now, when you really dig into leadership, one of the, some of the best leaders that I ever know are people who have been vulnerable and have sort of put their hands up and said, I don't know everything. You can teach me some stuff. Being vulnerable is really important for a leader to connect that team. Regular communications. Every single MSP should be having a one-to-one with each member of their team every month. I don't care if you say there's too busy. If it's too busy, then it's not too busy. It's every single month. You need to have that connection. Not talking about the tech, talking about how they're getting on with their role. What's the environment looking like? How are you getting on with this new process? How are you getting on with that new client? Whatever it might be. And you can do it in such an easy way. You pull the whole team together, and you could just do a real simple exercise that we do, red and green language, right? Okay, guys, you're having a green day. You've woken up, the sun's out, you've got in the car, you've had a great drive to the office, whatever it might be. You've got in, a day's been amazing. How does it feel? Give me some green language. How does that feel? Amazing achievement, whatever it might be. And then you go, okay, flick this one around the other way. You've had the day from hell. You've woken up, it's dark, it's rainy, it's snowing, whatever it might be. Give me the red language. And they start saying, oh, I'm feeling angry, I'm frustrated, and all of these kind of things. And then all of a sudden you start to say to them, okay, so which are the ones that we see common? And which are the ones that, which are the pages of this flip chart we can actually swap over? And what do we need to do to stop the red days, and how can we help with that? And how can other members of the team? And until you first of all identify what's going on, you can't start digging into solution mode because you're not the one who knows all the answers. Your team and the business know all the answers. And it might be just as simple as, if you can upgrade that system for us, that's going to help us to do this quicker, which means that won't happen again, etc. So I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that part of the system existed. So thank you very much. But it's getting that conversation, being vulnerable, asking people what could we be doing better as a team? What's gone well? What could be better? What do we need to do? What do you want to see more of? Is really, really important and such a powerful thing to do. But there's a caveat. You can't do this once. You can't just do it once. Beginning of the year, team are all excited. Everybody's like buzzing because they've come back from Christmas and you've solving all their problems. And then you walk off and then you don't talk to them again for 2 or 3 months. Because they'll go, yeah, I knew that was going to happen. He's just feeling bad about himself, or she said that you'd do this, and I knew that it wouldn't happen again. You've got to be consistent. So town hall meetings once a quarter, the one-to-ones, the regular meetings, the check-ins, all relating back to that plan we spoke about, 30 minutes ago. It's so important. It goes back to that plan.
I love the way you describe these things. It's super useful.
Yeah, we don't get much sleep.
Something else you've described over your career is you've developed what you call the scale of confidence model. So harness ambition, amplify capacity, and maximize opportunities. So could you walk us through that and how that framework helps MSPs grow sustainably?
So harnessing ambition is what we spoke about earlier on. It's about the vision, the mission, where are you going, your KPIs, your numbers, accountability, that leadership team. So you know where that North Star is, you know where the business is going, what it's doing and what its purpose is. When you've got that, you know where you're going. So guess what? Jump on the bus, guys and gals. We're going this way and this is what we're doing. If you want to be part of it, great. If you don't, see you later. That's absolutely fine. So we're moving forwards in that stage, and we've got that real clear plan and where we're going, who's doing what, why they're doing what, and how we're going to measure it. Next stage is amplify the capacity. So this is the team now. So we want to make sure that we've got a scalable team. So we've got good SOPs, so it's nice and efficient. We want the right people in the right roles. We want good accountability. We want to make sure everyone's got targets and everything's lined up so that as the MSP gets bigger, this senior leadership team comes in and they develop and they grow. And then all of a sudden you have a load of the teams underneath it. So you remove what we call the span of control. So where you were sitting there at the beginning of this podcast with 10 people reporting to you being the bottleneck, you've now got 2 or 3. You can think more strategically and you've got that leadership team in place. It also means it's scalable. So when a new apprentice or a new person turns up, they don't have to really worry about you too much. They can just go and plug in to the bottom of the structure. So that's around amplifying the capacity of that team. So when you've got the direction and then you've got the capacity piece with your team, then you can maximize the opportunities. So that literally is account management. So low hanging fruit. Most MSPs that we have working with us, anything around about $1 million, just under between 750 and $1 million, would almost guarantee there's at least 80 to 100,000 pounds worth of free profit sitting in your current business. Don't need sales, don't need marketing. In actual fact, most of our clients don't do any sales and marketing activities for at least the first year, can you believe, of being in the program, because there's so much other efficiencies that need fixing. So good account management, making sure we've got that in place. You've got an amazing opportunity on this business model, highly profitable. Don't muck it up by not talking to your customers. Make sure that every time someone brings out a great new product, you analyze it and you work out where you can add value to your customers and to your clients. And then when the time is right, start the sales and marketing journey. Yes, I can hear you go, "Ooh, it's hard work. It takes a long time." But again, it's about consistency, and you need to start it with consistency. And every single day or every single month, you need to have those certain actions. Doesn't need to be the MSP business owner doing it, because we know it's not your happy place, but you need a team, whether it be an outsourced team or an internal team, who are keeping that fire ticking along as things move along. Because what happens most of the time, MSPs come in, they do some stuff on sales and marketing. We have a framework called the New Client Runway. We help them implement it and also kind of do it for them as well in some cases. A big project comes in, everything stops. Deliver the project, happy client, everyone's all happy. Then they turn around and go, damn, the pipeline's run out of leads again. Right, better go and do that sales and marketing thing we were doing 6 months ago. You're back to square one. And this is what happened. And that is why you hear people say, well, it just doesn't work for MSPs. It does, but you've got to be consistent about it. And that's the model, basically.
It is. That's fantastic too. I love the way you break that down, keep it simple, those different steps, and that's great. So you might have guessed, I love space. I love
Yes.
outer space so very much. So let's say you were shipping off to Mars on a rocket ship. It might be a one-way trip. We don't know if you're coming back, but what would be your final podcast message for MSPs?
I love that question. I think that's absolutely brilliant. It's got to be around developing and building a team for the future. There you go. We'll put that into the space theme as well. Our most successful clients, the most successful MSPs that we see, they hire ahead of the curve, which means that they recruit an SDM or a senior member of team or that new tech before they need it. And the reason that this is really important, because that builds capacity. And remember that everybody needs time to think, time to do, time to do great things. And if you're all busy being busy, you're just going to go round and round in circles like that cat chasing its tail. So hire ahead of the curve, or plan out your future structure, hire ahead of the curve, and get the right people for the right company in the right roles.
Fantastic final message there. So this brings us to one of my favorite portions of the podcast. We call it the MSP Hot Seat. So we have a question for you today. It says, what's one leadership skill you believe will define the next generation of successful MSPs?
Oh, what a great question again. What's the one leadership skill? I don't think it's a leadership skill, but I'm just going to say it's consistency. You've got to be consistent. When I was 26, I was leading a team in what is now in the UK Virgin Media. So when the cable boom was kicking off back in the noughties, and one of my managers said to me, he said, "Ian, the way to win in this game is do what you say you're going to do. Don't do what everyone wants you to do, but if you say you're going to do something, then do it." He says, because that will build leadership trust, rapport, connection, and it will also destroy it. He says, and you pick which one you want to do. So just do what you say you're going to do. And if you do that as a leader, then you will build that connection. You will build those values in the business. You'll build that trust. People will want to work for you. They will want you to win. They will want the business to win. And life will get a bit easier, right? That's what this is all about. Having fun and having an easy life, yeah?
That is the dream, after all.
Yeah.
Ian Luckett, I really appreciate your time today. I learned some things, and it was a fun conversation. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me on. Really appreciate it. Cheers.
Ian Luckett, what a fantastic fellow to chat with. I love the way he describes growing MSPs. So he has these different steps he likes to take MSP owners through if they want to grow their MSP, want to expand their business. But what's interesting is the first step, it almost seems kind of assumptuous or self-explanatory, but I do think it's a step that a lot of MSP owners don't do, often because they don't have the time to do. And that is simply figuring out why. Why is the MSP owner doing all this in the first place? So once they have that figured out, once they have their North Star, if you will, then what's recommended is freeing up the MSP owner's time. A lot of that apparently comes down to delegating some tasks that you've always done, perhaps to other people that you're now bringing into your business. And the third step, once you have your direction, once you have your time freed up a little bit, then and only then can you really start to dive in onto the opportunity that lies ahead for your MSP business. How can you begin to grow your company? And so a lot of what that comes down to ends up being account management. So working with your customers, helping them to know what they can expect from you, and really focusing on building that pipeline, building that growth so you get new customers as well. So I really enjoyed today's conversation with Ian Luckett, and I hope you did as well. So thank you for listening to the MSP Security Playbook. That's a wrap on this episode of MSP Security Playbook. Thanks for spending part of your day with us. If you found today's insights helpful, Be sure to follow the show on your favorite podcast platform and leave us a review. It helps other MSPs find the playbook and level up their security game. Got a question you want us to tackle in the MSP Hot Seat? Or a topic you'd like to hear more about? Drop us a line. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, stay sharp, stay secure, and keep building the future of your MSP business.